Has the relentless pursuit of cap space, the cold, hard calculus of NHL economics, finally begun to chip away at the very soul of the Edmonton Oilers? Have the whispers from within, the dissenting voices of those who bleed the team's colors, grown loud enough to challenge the iron grip of front office strategy? Because today, we're not just dissecting a trade, we're peeling back the layers of a decision that, while seemingly driven by financial necessity, appears to have ignited a simmering frustration deep within the Oilers' inner sanctum, raising uncomfortable questions about loyalty, influence, and the true cost of a roster move. The recent transaction that saw rugged winger Evander Kane shipped from the Edmonton Oilers to the Vancouver Canucks was, on the surface, a textbook salary cap maneuver. In the cutthroat world of professional hockey, such moves are commonplace, a necessary evil for teams navigating the tight constraints of a hard cap system. They are often rationalized as pragmatic, forward-thinking decisions designed to optimize resources and create future flexibility. Yet, beneath this veneer of calculated efficiency, a different narrative is emerging, one of internal discord, of a respected voice within the organization expressing profound unhappiness with the departure of a player whose value, it seems, extended far beyond mere statistics. This isn't just about a player changing jerseys. It's about the unseen currents of influence, the clash between analytics and emotion, and the potential for a rift to form in the very foundation of a franchise striving for ultimate glory. Let's delve into the heart of this brewing storm. As reported by the insightful voices on the Mutts podcast, who have brought to light a fascinating and potentially disruptive undercurrent within the Oilers' hierarchy. The report from the Mutts podcast paints a vivid picture of internal friction, pinpointing former associate coach and current advisor to the owner, Paul Coffey, as a prominent figure deeply dissatisfied with the Evander Kane trade. Coffey, a legendary figure in Oilers history, a cornerstone of their dynasty years, is not just any voice. He is a revered icon whose opinions carry significant weight and a deep understanding of what it takes to build a winning culture. His discontent, therefore, is not to be dismissed lightly. According to the podcast, Coffey articulated a compelling case for retaining and re-signing Kane, emphasizing aspects that often get overlooked in the cold light of salary cap spreadsheets. Coffey reportedly highlighted Kane's deep connection with the community, noting that the forward resides in Edmonton year-round. This isn't a minor detail. In a transient professional sports world, a player who makes the team city his permanent home often fosters a unique bond with the fan base and the broader community. This connection can translate into invaluable goodwill, local engagement, and a sense of stability that transcends on-ice performance. It speaks to a level of commitment and roots that few players establish. Furthermore, Coffey underscored Kane's very strong connection with his teammates and the coaching staff. This speaks to the intangible, yet immensely powerful element of locker room chemistry. In the high-pressure environment of professional sports, a player who can unite a diverse group of individuals, who can be a vocal leader, a source of inspiration, or simply a unifying presence, is an asset that cannot be easily quantified. Despite his well-documented past issues with other NHL teams, Kane, in Edmonton, seemingly found a new lease on his career and, crucially, a role as a unifying force. The podcast stressed that Kane united many people and had a role within the team that will be difficult to replace. This isn't about goals or assists. It's about the fabric of the team, the unseen bonds that hold a championship contender together. Losing such a figure, even if financially expedient, can leave a void that goes beyond the stat sheet. It can disrupt the delicate ecosystem of a locker room, potentially affecting morale and cohesion. Coffey's perspective offers a stark contrast to the purely transactional view of the trade. While the front office likely focused on the cap relief and potential future assets, Coffey, from his vantage point, seems to have prioritized the human element, the cultural impact, and the profound connection a player like Kane had forged within the organization and its passionate fan base. This divergence in priorities raises a critical question. When does the pursuit of financial flexibility begin to erode the very chemistry and spirit that are essential for deep playoff runs? The implications of Coffey's reported dissatisfaction extend beyond mere disagreement. They touch upon the delicate balance of power within the Oilers' decision-making structure. Intriguingly, the two Mutts podcast further suggested that Coffey might be granted more voice in player movement decisions moving forward, precisely because of this recent trade. This rumor, if accurate, represents a significant potential shift in influence. Paul Coffey's journey within the Oilers organization has been a fascinating one. He recently transitioned from an associate coach role back to his position as an advisor to owner Daryl Katz and his son, Harrison Katz. When he initially joined the coaching staff, it was widely reported that he did so with reluctance, stepping into the role as a favor to a team he deeply cared about. His subsequent departure from the coaching staff is not presumed to be directly linked to the Kane trade, assuming the two Mutts report is accurate. However, the notion that his strong feelings about this particular move could empower him to have a greater say in future roster decisions is a development worth scrutinizing. The idea of an owner's advisor, even one with Coffey's legendary status and hockey acumen, wielding significant influence over player personnel decisions raises eyebrows in the modern NHL. Typically, these responsibilities fall squarely on the shoulders of the general manager and the CEO of hockey operations. In the Oilers' case, that's Jeff Jackson and Stan Bowman, respectively. These are experienced, respected executives who are expected to have autonomy in building their roster. The suggestion that Coffey, in his advisory capacity, might be granted a more direct hand in player transactions implies a potential blurring of lines and a departure from conventional management structures. Could this be a sign of the owner, Daryl Katz, seeking to incorporate more of the old-school hockey wisdom and emotional intelligence into the team's strategic decisions? Or is it a reflection of a growing tension between different philosophies within the organization? One prioritizing financial pragmatism and long-term planning, and another emphasizing the immediate impact of chemistry, leadership, and community ties? The balance between these two approaches is often the key to sustained success, and any perceived imbalance can lead to internal friction and potentially suboptimal outcomes on the ice. The Evander Kane trade, as widely understood, was primarily a salary cap maneuver. In a league where every dollar counts, shedding a significant contract like Kane's can free up crucial space for other acquisitions, extensions, or simply to ensure compliance. This is the logical, business-oriented explanation for the move. However, the two Mutts podcast added another intriguing layer to this narrative, reporting earlier this week that there were rumors about the Oilers and Kane potentially attempting to reconcile after the 2025-26 season, when Kane is set to become an unrestricted free agent. This rumor, if true, adds a fascinating twist to the entire saga. It suggests that the trade might not have been a definitive farewell, but rather a strategic pause, a temporary separation driven by immediate financial constraints. If the Oilers genuinely envision a future where Kane could return, it implies that the organization still values his contributions and perhaps even acknowledges the intangible benefits he brought to the team. This would further underscore Paul Coffey's perspective on Kane's importance, suggesting that even the front office might recognize the void his departure creates, despite the cap relief it provided. However, the notion of Coffey gaining significant power in player decisions faces a formidable obstacle in the established leadership of Jeff Jackson and Stan Bowman. It is difficult to imagine these seasoned executives who operate in a highly professional and structured environment ceding significant control over roster construction to an owner's advisor, no matter how respected. Modern NHL management teams are built on clear lines of authority and expertise. While input from advisors is valuable, the ultimate decision-making power regarding player movement typically rests with the GM and CEO. Any attempt to bypass or override this structure could lead to instability and undermine the credibility of the management team. This potential clash of philosophies and power dynamics will be a critical storyline to watch as the Oilers navigate the upcoming season. As the Edmonton Oilers prepare for a season laden with high expectations, the Evander Kane trade stands as a symbol of the unseen battles being waged within the organization. On one side, there's the cold, hard logic of the salary cap, dictating moves that prioritize financial flexibility and future planning. On the other, there's the passionate, deeply ingrained hockey sense of figures like Paul Coffey, who understand the profound impact of chemistry, community connection, and the intangible glue that binds a championship team. The reported frustration of Paul Coffey is more than just a dissenting opinion. It's a window into the soul of a franchise grappling with its identity. Is it a purely business-driven entity, or does it still prioritize the human element, the emotional ties that can elevate a good team to greatness? The answer to this question, and the resolution of these internal tensions, will undoubtedly shape the Oilers' trajectory in the coming years. Whether Coffey's voice will indeed gain more sway, or if the established management will maintain its firm grip on player personnel, remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. The Evander Kane trade has opened a fascinating discussion about the true cost of doing business in the NHL and the delicate balance between the head and the heart. What are your thoughts, Oilers Nation? Do you believe the Evander Kane trade was a necessary evil, or do you share Paul Coffey's frustration regarding his departure? How much influence should an owner's advisor have in player personnel decisions? And what do you think about the rumors of a potential reconciliation between Kane and the Oilers in the future? Dive into the comments below and let your voice be heard. If this deep dive into the internal workings of the Oilers has resonated with you, if it's given you a new perspective on the complex world of professional hockey, then please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more exclusive reports that go beyond the headlines and into the heart of the game.